Okay, let's talk about a technique for making your web apps feel, well, ridiculously fast. And the secret isn't about bigger, more powerful servers. It's actually a really clever and powerful illusion.
You know that feeling, right? You type out a perfect comment, you hit that send button, and then just nothing. You're left staring at the screen, kind of wondering, did that even work? It's such a tiny moment of friction, but it really adds up, and it can make an otherwise great application feel slow and clunky. And then, of course, this little guy shows up. The loading spinner. The universal symbol for, hang on, we're thinking about it. Now look, it's definitely better than a totally frozen screen, but it's still dead time for your user. It's this awkward pause in the conversation they're having with your app. But what if we could just get rid of it completely?
Well, that's where this whole idea comes in. The solution is something called optimistic UI. And it's less of a huge technical change and more of a brilliant psychological trick that creates the feeling of instant interaction.
So here's the core idea. Instead of making the user wait for the server to give the thumbs up, an optimistic UI just assumes the action is going to succeed. It updates the screen instantly and then deals with that server confirmation in the background. It's kind of like a shoot first, ask questions later approach, but for user interfaces.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, that traditional flow forces you into that waiting period. Click, wait, see the result. But the optimistic flow on the right completely flips the script. The user gets that immediate feedback, and the server confirmation just happens quietly in the background. Most of the time, they'll never even notice it happened.
Now you might be thinking, this sounds complicated, that it probably requires some heavy JavaScript framework. But the magic behind this whole technique can be unlocked with a tool that's already built right into your web browser. Let's talk about custom elements. And that quote really nails it. The name custom elements might sound a little intimidating, but they are so much more approachable than you think. In fact, if you've used any modern web framework, there's a really good chance you've already been using them without even realizing it. So what are they, really? Well, in short, they let you invent your own HTML tags. Imagine creating a tag called, say, optimistic form that just knows how to handle this instant update logic. You define that behavior one time in JavaScript, and then you can just reuse that Lego brick anywhere you need it.
There is one super simple but absolutely critical rule you have to follow. To make sure your custom tags never clash with official HTML tags now or in the future, the browser enforces a simple convention. Your custom tag name has to contain a hyphen. It's that simple. It's why my tag works, but my tag doesn't.
And for those of you who might be familiar with JavaScript frameworks like Stimulus, this little chart shows just how similar the core concepts are. But the biggest takeaway for absolutely everyone is on that bottom line. Custom elements give you all this power without needing to add an external library. It is all built right into the browser, ready to go. All right, theory is great, but let's actually see how this all comes together. We're going to walk through the blueprint for building one of these awesome instant updating forms. It really just breaks down into these 5 logical steps. First, our code just sits there, listening for the user to hit submit. The instant they do, we grab a hidden template, we fill it in with their data, and bam, we display it on the page. Only then do we actually let the browser send the real data to the server. And when the server finally responds with the permanent saved version, we just seamlessly swap out our temporary one.
The real hero of this whole operation is the humble template tag. This is another native HTML element, and its whole job is to hold a chunk of HTML on the page that doesn't get rendered. It's the perfect blueprint. And what's great is that this keeps your display logic right there in your HTML where it belongs instead of being duplicated inside some messy JavaScript string. And this right here is the final piece of the magic trick. So, while our optimistic temporary item is sitting on the screen, the server is working in the background and sends back the actual saved item. A single, simple command then swaps the temporary one with the real one. And because they look identical, the user sees absolutely nothing, just a perfect, seamless, and instant experience.
So, let's zoom out for a second. Why does all this matter so much? Because it really represents a fundamental shift in how we can approach user interaction. It's all about respecting the user's time and making our applications feel alive and incredibly responsive.
I mean, the benefits here are huge. Your app feels orders of magnitude faster. You can finally kill those annoying loading spinners for good. And because you're using these browser-native tools, the components you build are super clean and reusable. This is just a perfect pattern for any feature that involves adding items to a list. Think chats, comments, to-do apps, you name it.
And that really is the bottom line, isn't it? The experience we're creating is direct, It's immediate, there's no waiting. Frankly, it's what people now expect from high-quality software. It's an experience that just feels right.
The main thing to take away from all this is that this incredibly powerful technique is way more accessible than you might think. So take a look at your own projects, your own apps, and ask yourself, where's that one little loading spinner you could get rid of to create a moment of instant delight for your users?